Change your life with a final salary pension transfer. Okay, today we're going to be talking about pension transfers and how you can change your life with a defined benefit pension transfer, or a final salary pension transfer as they're also called. Okay, so there's basically three options here that could happen in terms of changing your life with a defined benefit pension transfer. Start off with the negatives. If you transfer away your defined benefit asset and you give up your indexation, you give up your inflation proofing, you give up that safeguarded asset of a guaranteed income for life for the rest of your retirement, you could potentially be missing out. Say for example, you invest in a SIPP portfolio and for the next 20 years, market performance remains flat. There's no growth in the markets for 20 years. Your SIPP will obviously be eroded by charges, IFA charges, platform charges, etc. Generally around 1.5% net charges over the course of time. So over the course of 15 years, you're looking at circa 15% charges, or that was what it'd be at Cameron James, including IFA, underlying funds, platform, and trustee fee. So you would have a situation in 10 years time or 20 years time, even if there's been no growth in the market, your SIPP is going to be worth less, okay? So in fact, you would have been better off keeping your safeguarded defined benefit scheme, as the income it would have paid you over the course of time would have continued to have risen with inflation or whatever inflation proof is inside your specific scheme. So that is the first instance where completing a final salary pension transfer could change your life in a very negative way. It could work against you. The second situation would be a situation where someone doesn't really necessarily see much of a difference between the two. The growth that they have inside their SIPP is about the same as the growth that they might have inside from the inflation proofing from their final salary scheme. Say they have inflation proofing of 2 or 3 or 4% inside their scheme, and their SIPP grows at 2 or 3 or 4% over the course of time. It's going to be a match for match situation. There's not really going to be much difference. Obviously, there's a huge amount of advantages and flexibility of having a SIPP, but in terms of actual performance, it would be about the same. The third situation is for an investor with a balanced portfolio or greater, or balanced adventurous or adventurous. Generally speaking, over the course of time, a portfolio like that is going to outperform your DB scheme in the UK. Now, no one can ever go on record and say you will have guaranteed returns in a SIPP, because you won't. Past performance is no guide to future performance. But if we look at the past 20 to 30 years, having a 60, 70, 80% weighted equity portfolio, generally speaking, would have provided you with a significant growth of that pension pot over the course of time. So that's a situation where it could drastically change someone's life by giving them far greater money in retirement and over the course of time. Now, that's kind of looking just purely at performance. Would it be better for someone to transfer or to stay inside the scheme based purely on performance? However, performance is not really what PTSs are looking at. Whilst they'll put in the FCA guidance of 5.54%, I believe, for a balanced portfolio and growth over the course of time to do cash flow modelling, what they're more interested in is your personal situation. Transferring a final salary scheme could change your life. For example, say you have £1 million cash equivalent transfer value, but you only have £500,000 in your bank account and you have your property or whatever it might be. You may have a goal to move abroad, to move to another country, and over there you can't get a mortgage. As such, you need to buy a property outright. That would be a life-changing move for you, because you get to go and do or achieve what you want to do. A similar situation may well be that you wish to retire early. You don't want to work till 65. You work very hard in your life, you have a very large defined benefit scheme, and you'd like to obviously have more flexibility to start drawing down on that pot and leave your work position at work early. Now, all these things are not categoric. A pension transfer specialist isn't going to say, oh, you want to buy a property in Spain? Yep, you're good for a transfer. It doesn't work like that. There's numerous factors that go into this, but completing a transfer can be life-changing for someone if it allows them to complete their goals and what is important for them. So a client may well look at the situation and say, okay, I understand I have inflation proofing with my DB scheme. It's guaranteed. It's going to grow over the course of time. Caveat, what's going to happen to DB schemes over the course of the next 5, 10, 15 years of an aging population? We're not sure. Will they water down the benefits? Possibly. We have some other videos on the channel discussing this. But generally speaking, a DB scheme is offering you a defined income for life, a guaranteed income for life, versus kind of swapping that for taking more risk in a SIPP portfolio or a QROPS or whatever it might be, defined contribution scheme, in order to have market growth, obviously at their own risk, so to speak. So defined benefit pension transfer can definitely change your life in a negative way and also in a positive way. And that is why taking authorized final salary pension transfer advice is so important. Clients often like to complain and say this is a ridiculous system the FCA and the pensions regulator has put in place, but it is there to try and protect you. It is a very valuable asset And if you think in the long run, say you pay an advice fee or pay on $500,000, we have a 2% initial advice fee, it's £10,000. Over the course of 20 years of having that SIP, it's actually not that much in comparison to the disadvantage that you might have had by leaving your defined benefit scheme by accident. So it is really valuable to get quality advice to work out whether a pension transfer is suitable for you or not. Guys, please always like, subscribe and share the channel to let us know we're doing a good job, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video. Thank you.